Hey everybody, Greg here, and this is a video about Google Drive, cloud storage that's provided by Google for free when you sign up for a Google account, which is typically something that a lot of people have done. You sign up for Gmail, if you've ever done that, and if you have a Google email address, then you have access to Google Drive and some other services that Google offers. So the first step is to go to google.com, and in the upper right hand corner you sign in using your Gmail address and password. Once you've signed in, then as you click on these tiny boxes in the upper right, you can see all the different services available from Google, and you can explore those. We're going to be looking at Google Drive, so we're going to click on the Google Drive icon, and when we do that, I've already brought it up here in another tab, we will get this introductory message. If you've not used Google Drive before, and maybe this is a different introduction and tour than would have been available a few years ago. If you've had Gmail for a while, you might not have seen this. But anyway, I'll step through these descriptive slides. It's just saying that you get 15 gigabytes of free storage, which is nice. And it's a way to keep files safe and accessible. And you can organize your items easily, putting them in folders. And then it just says here, get started. So, and there's a video you can click on as well. So one of the documents that's already in here by default is a getting started, presentation. And it looks like that's in a PDF format maybe, or could just be a format that's a Google Doc format. But anyway, once you're in this Google Drive area and you want to add things in there, you can click and drag them from your desktop into this area, or you can say you want a new item, and then from the list here you can do file upload, etc. What I'm going to do in this tutorial here, this short video, is show you how you can create a folder that you might want to share with some people. Let's say you have some reports you've created or documents you've created, and you want to put them in a folder and then make that folder accessible to people. So I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to choose New Folder, and I'm just going to call it, I'll get my keyboard over here, I'm going to call it Reports. So we're going to have these reports in this Reports folder. So once we've created the folder, we double click on it. We can see it's empty, but it says we can drag files here. You can also, as I said before, choose New and then File Upload. So however you get them in there, that's fine. And I'm going to spare some time here by skipping this part. I'm not going to show you uploading files because that's pretty simple. We'll go back to the drive, the top level of the drive, and you'll see that folder there, Reports. If you right click on it, there are a lot of options, and one of those options is Get Shareable Link. Now this is the place where people sometimes get confused or make a mistake. I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but people will send you a link to some Google file, or file that's in Google Drive or a folder, and you click on the link and it says, we're sorry, you don't have access to that. Well, they've probably sent the link to an email address that isn't your Gmail address, or maybe it comes in on your Gmail address, but they shared it with a different, you have to be invited using a Google address, being invited to be an editor or viewer in a certain Google Drive file or folder, etc. There's that process. If you want to have collaborative work done with a dozen people, you can all be sharing in the same folder. What I'm talking about, though, is not that. That's complicated, often doesn't work unless people understand what's going on. What I'm talking about is getting a link that you can send to anybody, and they can click on the link and see the files without logging in, without having a Gmail account. No hassles. That's what we want. So we're clicking on, right click on the folder, left click once on Get Shareable Link, We're going to turn that on, and then there's the link. We'll go ahead and copy that shareable link. I'm going to lean in here and make sure. Yep. And then if you're on Windows, Control C for copy, or if you're on a Mac, Command C. So that's it. So now you have that shareable link. And then you can use that link and paste it into an email. You can put it on a website, however you want. And it's really handy then. You can have a variety of files out there that people can just click and browse, and you can update that, and they will always have access then to all the latest reports or files. And if you want, you can curate that, you can prune it and make sure you don't have, 300 files in there. Maybe you just want the most recent dozen or something. You can do that. So anyway, that's basically what Google Drive is all about. And there are, as you can see here, you can create a new, spreadsheet, a new document, and you can use Google's own applications to develop documents, or you can use, third-party apps, and then be sure to save documents in a PDF format for sharing, right? Because somebody might not have Microsoft Word, or they might not have LibreOffice or whatever you're using. So as long as you print to PDF, save to PDF, then it's sort of a universally accessible document format. And the same thing is true for if you want to just share a specific file. Let's say I go in and create a Google Doc, and I'm just going to call it, test at the top. And like you say, whatever you're sharing, that's fine. So I'm going to, let me show you here in the upper right corner, when you're creating a document here, there's this option to share, and you want to name it before sharing. So then you say that, and then you put in, addresses of people you're going to share it with. This is where the problems start. You want to avoid that, because unless you and the other people kind of know what's going on, it's just going to get confusing, because people might not have the right address to get access to the system. So anyway, if I close out of that and we go back in here, and there's the reports file, here's the top level file, we can share individual documents like this one. I could click and get a share link for that specific file or a folder. I hope all that's pretty clear. I should also say that there are these other services out there like DropBox and Box.com and Microsoft OneDrive, and they all work in similar ways. Some people ask, well, which one should I use? I'd suggest using all of them, because you may be working with people who are on one platform or another. Somebody's familiar with one service and they want to use that. Okay. Something I like about Box.com for some uses is that when somebody goes to download a file, I'm notified about that. I don't know who it was, but I know that the file's been downloaded. And it's a nice way to pass on secure documents if you want to make sure something's not just floating around out there as an email, because emails aren't secure. If you put it in one of these secure services like Box.com or whatever, Google Drive, if you use Box.com and you've emailed somebody and said, oh, here's my, whatever it might be, financial document, health document, something you didn't want floating out there, once they download it, you'll immediately know, because you'll get a notification someone has downloaded it, presumably the person you just emailed, let's hope. And you can confirm with them as well and say, hey, I noticed the document got downloaded, and they'll say, yep, that's right, I got it. And then you can remove that document, so it's no longer sitting out there in the cloud. So that, in that regard, it's kind of a nice way to have almost like encrypted or secure email. You can say, oh, I sent you a private message, click here, and you can view it in Box, and you'll know when they get it. That won't come up that much. Most email is fine to be in the clear, as they say, unencrypted, pretty much accessible to people who wanted to, if they got in there, piece it together. But anyway, so that's how Google Drive fits into the mix with these other services. And most of them, if you want to have advanced features, require having an account. Some of them don't. So you just have to explore with that. The other issue, I guess, would be that, as mentioned here, Google gives you 15 gigabytes. Some of the other services give you 5 or 10 or something free. And so you'll bump up against those storage limits. And if you have to start paying for storage, that can get expensive. So if you do sign up for, say, the top 4 services, Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, Box.com, and DropBox.com, then you'll get all of that storage spread across those different services. So that's an advantage. And I guess the last point I would make is a service like Dropbox.com, when you open up a folder, create a folder and share it with a group of people to edit, you share that, and if somebody goes in there and deletes a file or just moves it to their desktop, it's removed. So if you have a dozen people working out of a folder, they all really need to know, hey, if you make a change in this folder, it's going to affect everybody. And if you don't want people to accidentally remove things, then you'll want to share it in a way that they just have view access and not editing access. So anyway, I guess this video became more than just a video about Google OneDrive or Google Drive. But I hope that other context and information is helpful. And what you saw at the beginning are basically the simple steps of how to use Google Drive, how to share a folder. And again, if somebody has that link and they go back again and click the link, they'll continue to go back to that folder. So you'll give them ongoing access to the folder. And if you changed your mind and you didn't want to share the folder, then you can turn off that link feature. So you notice there was a little toggle switch for share link, and you can turn it on and off. But if you have any other questions, feel free to get in touch with me through my website, or you can feel free to comment below. If you're viewing this on YouTube, you'll see a comments area below, and you can communicate that way. But I've had a lot of people asking me questions about these different cloud storage services, and I thought, that's something that's kind of visual. I should go ahead and show people how these work, and I wanted to start with Google Drive. So hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for all the likes and the subscribes and the comments, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.